Yeah, so this is a Dexterity 16 build, Con 16, Intelligence 20, Artificer, Fighter with the Monk, Robo Gnome, very good name. Plus 4 Dexterity Tome with the +1 Dexterity for Combat Archery. Important note, depending on when you play this, Combat Archery is going to come down in price, and it is only going to need a 17 Dexterity instead of 21. However, it's still, you're going to want a 19 Dexterity anyway for improved precise shot. Whoops. So that's important. You can't be centered, but you still get 2 feats, which is a big deal. Versus Rogue, where you don't get 2 feats. Rogue also gives you the option to get more sneak attack damage per shot, but your feats can be nice. As is noted, being able to take precision and deflect arrows as feats, since you're a monk, is actually not too bad. So in terms of orders, point blank shot is good, rapid shot, precise shot. Insightful reflexes at early levels is nice, although I don't think you need insightful reflexes this early, mostly because your character has a good amount of dex in the early game. However, is there a better time to do it? You take shot on the run here, because you get so many extra feats from the fighter levels as well. Being able to grab Quicken on top of your other abilities, improve precise shot, mobility, and then entirely shot on the run. Shot on the run is kind of weird because it's a good ability to have because it doesn't reduce your hit chance while moving, which is cool, and it gives you 3 range power. And you have a lot of feats, so you're actually able to take it pretty easily. I'm trying to think what you would move down. You would take, instead of insightful reflexes, you would take dodge. And then you would take, basically I would just like move some of these feats up. So I'd move like dodge up here, and then move mobility up here, and then move shot on the run up here, and then take insightful reflexes down here. But I feel like that's not really, doesn't really matter that much. Shot on the run is not like an essential feat. If you were to replace shot on the run, what would you take instead of this? You could probably take something a little bit more defensive. Wait, it does still reduce your hit chance while moving? That's interesting. It shouldn't do that. This is what happens when I don't play ranged characters. I only know what the ability says it does. Instead of shot on the run, you have a couple different options for your feat. One of the cool things about playing as a gnome is you get access to the Mark of Scribing. Now, fortunately, as an Artificer, you don't really need this, because you have extra Use Magic Device, and you can get yourself immunity to magic missiles by wearing heavier armor. However, your character is not going to be wearing heavy armor. Keep that in mind. Instead, you're going to be using the light armor, so you'll have to find other sources of getting magic missile immunity, mostly ones of, like, literally ones to get that. Or alternatively, you could take the Dragon Mark of Scribing, which would give you access to the shield spell, which is pretty good. Interesting. Okay. I was actually going to say spring attack, but do you need a melee weapon? Yeah, while you're holding a melee weapon. I was going to be like, can you jump forward with spring attack without a melee weapon? And yeah, you need that. Yeah, you can use a Wand of Shield instead. This is still 3 ranged power, so it's not the worst feat. Like, you would take weapon focus with an attack anyway. Like, you take weapon focus for 2 ranged power. It's still 3 ranged power, so it's not too bad. Although I don't know if this actually gives the range powers, so keep that in mind. You want to keep Quicken on this character because you will be casting Reconstruct on yourself, and non-Quicken Reconstruct is very, very, very slow. It's like tragically slow, so you want to make sure you have that. And shielding power, it only, well, yeah, but then you have to press it every 2 minutes, and hopefully you don't let your brain forget, and then you get instantly blown away by a monster. Combat Archery, your damage is increased. That's good. Overwhelming Critical, good. Holy Strike, allowing you to hit enemies with Ghost Touch. This is not the best ability, but it does add a little bit of extra damage, and the Ghost Touch is not too bad to have. Blinding Speed is a feat that you don't necessarily need to take, because almost every build is going to have speed built into it somewhere. And you can also use an augment for this, so I would say you don't generally need blinding speed on a character like this. If you wanted to pick up some extra tankiness or durability, this would be a perfect time to grab toughness or epic damage reduction instead of that, just because you can get around that. As far as your last feat here, you took Embodiment of Law, so you get extra law damage against chaotic targets and the Bane damage. Now, I don't play ranged, but I really don't know how much damage that's actually going to add to your shots. If I had to guess, I can't imagine it would be a lot. I much prefer Deific Warding because it gives you PRR and MRR, again, making you a little bit tankier, making you more defensive. You've also then got Elusive Target, which gives you a 5% chance to not take damage when you get hit by a monster. Wind Through the Trees, which knocks people over if you don't already have that on an item effect, which is actually pretty good. Or just straight up Toughness, because extra health is, like, really nice. Yeah. So I would probably just go for the sure thing and grab Deific Warding for the future. Oh, elusive target is broken? Perfect. And then never again? That is so funny. So Sign of Mechanist is really interesting. It gives you fortification bypass with weapon attacks, and it also gives you communion of scribing, so a reconstruction effect, as well as repair amp and repair spell power. The problem with this is that you don't actually need this effect. It's kind of cool, but you just don't really need it. You'd much rather have extra damage. The repair amp is okay. You can't find a lot of places to use this. However, there is actually a feat you could take if you wanted to instead of this that would be similar-ish. Instead of epic damage reduction, you can take the feat Construct Exemplar, which gives you repair amp and magic resistance rating. The problem with Construct Exemplar is that you have light armor on this character at most because you need evasion, which means your magic resistance rating cap is probably going to be pretty low. So it's hard to fit that in, but it is also a good feat. Sign of Mechanist, though, I'm not as a big fan of Sign of Mechanist, although the fortification bypass is not too bad. You're probably going to want to take Sign of Arborea instead for the ranged power and bonus hit chance with your weapon. But if you like the theme of Sign of Mechanist, you can definitely keep it. So I'm just going to... hold on. I'm just going to do this, and so you can have both. In case you wanted to pick one or the other. So keep that there in mind. Again, Shot on the Run, you could replace this with something else. So a feat that would work instead of Shot on the Run would be anything that just makes you tougher, so straight up toughness. The problem is Shot on the Run is not bad because it gives you an extra 3 range power, so. Why is Ethereal a better option than Arborea? What do you get out of Ethereal that you don't get? The extra sneak attack dice? Is it for, like, the frequency of attack? It depends on, I guess, where your range power is going to be on this character and how much range power you get. Because 66 sneak attack dice is, what, 18, 21 extra damage per shot while sneak attacking? Yeah. And 21 extra base damage per shot's pretty good. Versus, like, the ranged power. Versus the range power is because this also gives you 5 range power. And then you have the Sign of Arborea, which just gives the solid range power, or a slightly higher amount of range power. Plus, this also gives spell power too, which is kind of good for this character. Yeah. I think it depends on where the range power ends up. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that in a second here. This character is most likely going to be playing in Shiradi, which you've already picked. So you've got the 60 range power here, which is important. And then on top of that, you've also got likely range power from your item set. I'm assuming this is a Wall Watch set character build. So is there anything I see here that stands out? No, it's pretty good. I don't really love Healing Spring on this style of character, but you're an intelligence-based Shiradi, so you're always going to be running out. Like, this is a problem you're always going to be running into. The other option instead of Shiradi, if you're an intelligence-based character, is, of course, to use Shadow Dancer. Which you already have set up here reasonably well, which is a pretty good place to go. Shadow Dancer gives you additional shadow training, so you don't get as much range power. You're missing a little bit, but you pick up sneak attack dice down here. Basically, instead of getting 10 range power, you get 6 range power and 1 sneak attack dice per level. And then you get to pick up the extra intelligence. Plus, on top of that, the cores give you a little bit more direct things, such as the damage vulnerability when you hit people, the Shadow Dancer training, which is pretty good. However, the benefit of Shiradi Champion is all of these procs for additional hits, so getting the extra sonic damage and the force damage, among other things, that just hit. Also, Soars just subscribed with Prime. Welcome back to the stream team. Who am I? Stream team. Appreciate the support. I hope you're doing well today. Glad to have you here, and I hope you're feeling good and excited for some build review. So this character is already going to have a good amount of range power, and then, of course, as I said, you're grabbing the Wildwood Gauntlets, Wall Watch Circlet, plus the Wildwood Vest. The goal here is to go all non-raid items, because this is a non-raiding character, so... and as far as the offensive breakdown, character is rocking 188 ranged power, which seems like a lot. Wall Watch, which is actually not stacking up all the effects like the cores, so it keeps going up. So it's got a good amount of range power already, So that's going to scale the sneak attack dice. I think you guys might be right with the Sign of the Ethereal Plane. It also means you don't have to get blurry as well, and it gives bonuses to all skills, which is pretty good. Yeah, this is before Archer's Focus. I don't see Archer's Focus in this list. So, I'm just going to double check the stances. Yeah, this is 0 Archer's Focus. Which is not too bad. Also, again, no stance because you can't use a stance because you're a monk. Yeah. So then, I think that is definitely a good choice from all the extra hits. So then the alternative would be Scion of the Ethereal Plane. Again, this is going to give you a lot of extra damage because the sneak attack dice is pretty good. But again, Scion of Mechanus, the reason why it's interesting is because it fits with the theme of the character. And theming is also important if you just like the feel of it. Plus the Master Reconstruction. Granted, since you're playing as a Artificer, I would definitely recommend Sign of the Ethereal Plane over Mechanus. Going to be better, but still. Alright. And yeah, the gloves, Wildwood gloves already have lesser displacement because it's already part of the set. So you're kind of like locked in right there. What else do you want here? Oh, and I was supposed to be looking at this. The Epic Destiny. You've got Stay Good here, so you've got extra good damage on your attack. I go back and forth on Stay Good. I think this is a good, powerful ability because it makes sure all your attacks count as good, and you can bypass, you can already hit monsters that happen to be incorporeal, which is nice with this character. Only problem with playing solo with sneak attack vulnerability? Yes. You don't have a way to make monsters vulnerable to your sneak attacks. If you have improved deception, you should be okay, but getting improved deception can obviously be a difficult task. I guess you don't have a way to get improved deception in this build because you've got a lot of other stuff. Alright. So we've got 2-piece Summer, we got 1-piece Spring, we got Wall Watch set, Lionheart Ring gets the extra action boosts because action boosts are pretty good. You've got Cursebane Focus up here for Magical Sheltering. In terms of artifact here, you're running the Key of Rukan Drow. Important note about this character. Oh, I didn't look through this. I was like, wait, there's something I skipped. You have Harper Agent, Know the Angles, which is nice because it gives you the Insightful Deadly. So you don't actually need to worry about having Insightful Deadly somewhere else. So if you can get Insightful Accuracy somewhere else, that's usually pretty good. So that's important. Out of the Inquisitive tree, you've already got Conjure Bolt, so you don't need that. You pick up all this good stuff here. All the good stuff, all the good stuff. That's great. Oh yeah, and you don't get improved Uncanny Dodge, so taking this as a cooldown is a very useful ability. After that, you have your points spent into the Battle Engineer tree, grabbing the 10% double shot out here, as well as the extra intelligence, as opposed to grabbing something like extra action boost, which I think might be better. I do like the infused weapons being higher because this allows you to get to charge tier 4, which is or charge tier 3 as a stable charge, which is kind of good. It's nice to have. But problematically, your character doesn't really have a lot of spell power, and that's one of the weird things about Artificers and Rune Arms in general. They scale off of spell power, and your character doesn't gear around spell power at all. You have basically 0. So as a result, having extra spell power and powering up your Rune Arms is significantly less valuable than it might otherwise seem. So generally, you're probably going to find yourself not using that. However, there are some other good abilities you can get in different places. As an easy example, as I said before, also, if you're using Rune Arms, you want to take Thaumaturgical Conduits anyway. So at which point, extra action boosts are pretty good here as something you can pick up. And I'm assuming that Haste Boost doesn't work, but if you only need the 1 action boost anyway, from No Holds Barred, you've got No Holds Barred plus your extra action boosts and extra action boosts. It's not too bad. Additionally, because you happen to be playing as a gnome, for just a few enhancement points, you can also pick up Greater Color Spray, which is a nice ability, just something to have throughout. Plus, you can get some quick intelligence here without worrying about spending, fewer points in this tree. Won't power up Rune Arm with Inquis. You can use Inquisitive and Rune Arms at the same time. Yeah. So I'm going to reset this tree real quick and grab the crossbow training because you still want to take the extra action boost. And if you like these attacks, you can still keep these attacks as well. So grab this action boost. And if you want to grab the Shattered Defense or the Caustic Strike because it adds extra damage, 1 shot, and the Shattered Strike. These are cool attacks and they work with your crossbow, so it's not like the worst thing in the world. And you can still take the intelligence here if you want. Alternatively, instead of taking the intelligence here, you can go grab this Grab your point in color spray so you can color spray whenever you feel like it, and then take your extra action boosts here. So now you have more action boost usages on your no holds barred, so you can no holds barred literally on cooldown whenever you want. Rack Construct is great. Do you think Rack Construct is better than having access to something like a color spray for possibly while leveling? Because Racking Shot is minus 25% fortification. Oh, it loses its sneak attack immunity. Yes, you need Rack Construct. Whoops. Forgot that it did that. I'm so used to playing Artificers that don't sneak attack people. And then you have 5 points left over. Intelligence. Intelligence. And infused armor. This is 5 PRR on your armor if you wanted that. What's a good one-pointer? Possibly. It's probably fine. And you're using the Nightshade shooter, right? Which is a light crossbow, which I think works with your thing. Light crossbow. Hell yeah. Perfect. That's actually great. Yeah, you could do that. You could do something like this. Crossbows. Crossbows. Is that only 1 AP? No, that's 2. Yeah, you can do this if you wanted. Drop 1 hit chance here out of this tree and take this away and grab this hit chance out of here. This is only 1 point? I thought this was 2 points. Oh, geez, never mind. Here's 5 strikes. Yeah, you can cast an artificer spell, so you don't need that. All right. So this seems like a little bit more organized. As far as the items go, man, I wish I played Inquisitive more often. Nightshade Shooter is really good. Breaking the Bank is, or not Breaking the Bank. The Dumpster Fire is good, and Purifying Quiver is good. As far as the other items, you want Repair Spell Power into this build, and the Repair Spell Power items are all over the place in this game. Repair Spell Power. I don't love the Construct Champion bands, but it's Repair Spell Power and Repair Amplification, so it's like a really convenient item for this build. Plus it has Deadly on it, which is kind of great. And now you have Accuracy here, plus you get Insightful Accuracy and Insightful Deadly. You would love to use another helmet, but you just can't. Yeah. So I actually do like this. I do like this. There's that new belt that's coming out that will help out your character a ton, but you don't have that belt yet. So even if you wanted to fit like a winter item into your, or winter set in, I really don't feel like you're going to be able to do that. Cloak of Balance you're currently using for quality constitution. Actually, you'll probably just shove winter in here. The Black Dragon Scale Tacit gives you armor piercing 23, which you want, but you already have so much fortification bypass from every other source. Because you get the Wall Watch fortification bypass, the Lionheart Ring is giving you fortification bypass, and you have Spell Lore Repair 27. I feel like you probably don't even need that, because you don't need Repair Crit. If I would do something like this, go with a Dire Bear or Dire Wolf belt. Dire Wolf is nice because it gives you Deception, which you don't pick up in other places, I don't think. And you lose the extra action boost here, but you already picked up extra action boosts. So you grab yourself... Actually, if you wanted to keep that, you probably could. Go Deep Snout, because this is not too bad. Yeah, I guess it's the quality constitution that kind of sucks, because you use all these stats, except for the stunning. This is just for enhancement boosts and armor piercing. And then you replace this 5 rings with all these stats that you don't need. You just want the quality intelligence. Is it just quality intelligence? Damn, dude. Because you need some fortification bypass. So replacing some of this stuff is like actually kind of important. Or like kind of something to think about. So if I replace this repair spell power with armor piercing, so you still have that, and you replace this ring with this defensive stealthy ring, and I replace this cloak because you don't need the insightful seeker because you already have it, You have all these other stats. With the Winter Cloak, you miss out on 3 action boost usages, but you gain more fortification. You keep the same amount of constitution, but now you're a winter set instead. You have the Direwolf belt, which gives you deception, so it gives you more sneak attack damage. And you still don't have improved deception in this build, because getting improved deception into item builds is impossible in current year. I have no idea how you would do that. It's already Inquisitive. Oh yeah, and you have the Cursebane focus, which does something. What is this doing here? Is this just magical sheltering? Is that all this does? I think it's all this does. Because you don't need any of this other stuff. Spell saves is like, okay. But you actually need magical sheltering because you have nothing else. Seeker, yes. Yes, Seeker is also gone. Is there Seeker up here? Seeker? Bone Figurine gives Insightful Seeker and Strength. Eagle's Eye gives Seeker 14. Subtle Sound gives Insightful Deception, Quality Seeker, Insightful Assassinate, and Enhanced Use Magic Device, which is an enhancement bonus to skill, which is so weird. So weird. Which I don't love. Why would you recommend not wearing that? Is there a bug I don't know about on this item? Insight doesn't apply to range damage. It's melee. It's melee damage. It's a rated arrowhead. I actually don't know what that does. The rated arrowhead. Seeker, accuracy, ghostly, and crippling. It says it is a threat generated from melee damage, and it's separated out in-game. Like when you go in-game and you look at the stats in the stats menu with combat, or general combat, you have the... Where's my threat reduction? Yeah, range threat multiplier, and you have melee threat multiplier. Yeah. Until the game proves me wrong, I assume that the stats are working. What can you get on a ring that is good, that gives useful stats for this character build, that is not from a raid? Rock Slide. No, that's bad. Winter's Chill is bad. Spring's Heat, Summer Storms, Nightfall. No. Flickering Steel. No. Ball's Decay, Ring of Changes. This is Quality Intelligence and a bunch of stats you don't need. If Pinnacle is bad, that's a raid item. Oh no, man. Makes me so sad. Duskbone is not good. Death Warden, Celestial Topaz? No. Sapphire. Sapphire has improved deception and dodge, which you don't have currently. In Constitution? And then you replace this with the 5 rings, because you don't need the other stats on this. And you go Sheltering, 45, plus Armor Piercing 28, plus whatever skill that you had before. Oh no, I don't remember. You could just swap in something for skills anyway. And Quality Intelligence. And now you have the Winter set. You have improved deception, so you can sneak attack monsters now. Oh, and repair? Okay, perfect. Profane bonus to all abilities. And Constitution. And dodge 21. And you had no dodge items. Oh, no, I actually had dodge on the gloves. But it's improved deception on a ring, which means now you can improve decept. So as you shoot stuff, you'll envelop them in darkness, making them vulnerable to sneak attacks for a short period of time. I think that's where this goes. And then you're a Crackshot Negotiator. Plus Shatter Device. Most people don't use Crackshot Negotiator, but it does give plus 10 Diplomacy, which would work for your Diplomacy effects. Which is not great while soloing, but it's not too bad with other people. Yeah, and you could use the repair if you wanted. It's 22 spell power, which is not that great, which is one of the reasons why I would probably go with like Tendon Slice for the slow. But I think actually no, you already get Tendon Slice from the helmet. Never mind. Repair. Yep. You get overwhelmed because it goes from the helmet. Because this also gives Tendon Slice, so you don't have to worry about it. Is Tendon Slice 17, so it has a 6% chance to last for 17 seconds? I don't know what the 17 level modulates. But alright. There we go. That looks not too bad. It's a little better than it was before, a little bit more organized. Again, you still have to wear the Construct Champion bands. There's just no way to get around that. Hopefully there's a new belt that is coming out that will help some of the stuff. Basically, instead of using the Direwolf belt, you would use the new one for the extra repair ramp. And then you would swap out the Construct Champion bands for the Cold Iron Bracers for like 100 extra hit points. You lose a little bit hit points, or like a little bit of offense, but you gain some more defense. But your character's at 1700 health right now, so you should be pretty confident for like soloing through most stuff, or getting through most things solo. And for somebody with no rogue, they have no sneak attack, this is not too bad.